Charles and Tessie here again, talking about boundaries today.
What are good boundaries? How to set good boundaries? Boundaries that people are going to respect and how to communicate them effectively. And I guess just making sure that they are heard and respected. So, what do you think is a good boundary or a good definition of a boundary? I would say.
Um, a good definition of a boundary is something that you put in place that you're consistent with, that you hold people to.
I think that to add to that, I think a boundary is something that you put in place, parameters that you put in place around yourself to make sure that you're protecting your own well being, making sure that you're okay and not let people overrun you. And like I say, sometimes become a feather and just blow in the wind with whatever someone else wants from you or for you to do. So having boundaries are very, very important. I think they're important in business and relationships, children, just in a lot of different ways. Our clients, for example, we have a boundary that we do not cross unless it is a major, major emergency, and we get to define what an emergency is. But we don't give out our cell phone numbers to clients. Another boundary that we have at the firm, we generally don't take calls after 7 or 8 o'clock at night because we want our team, our staff, to be able to go home and enjoy their family. So if we're taking calls at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, and on the weekends, then that would interfere with their time for their family and kind of leads to burnout really quickly. So
But
we've
there's
set some
there's a,
boundaries for them.
and I think there's exceptions to
Hmm.
some of them. There can be exceptions. You can't always set that time for 7 o'clock. There are some people that get to be outside of that. When it comes to even the weekends, we try not to have the staff work on weekends, but in some situations, you have a case that's coming up on Monday. So it and your cell phone number. Sometimes
That's
clients
what I'm
do
saying. There
cross
are
over
exceptions, but it's not
the
very
norm.
likely at
It's not
all.
the norm.
That is a boundary that we've set, and every now and then a special emergency circumstances arises, but it's very, very few and in between.
But we also have some of those boundaries with families, with family
Hmm.
and grown people coming to stay and live with us.
I know that boundary that we determined a long time ago, one that we mutually agreed on. Like children, we could take children, but adults living with me,
Mm-mm.
living with us,
No.
that was a boundary I had before I met you.
Yeah, it sounded great when you told it to me.
I don't do family members can't come live with us. But
No,
what are
no,
some other
parents are
boundaries?
different. The parents are different.
Parents are the exception. We could take care of your mom, my mom. Both of our fathers have passed, but taking care of our parents if they needed it would be not an exception, but to be expected.
And children, we determine what that exception is and for how long. So
uh,
that has happened, and under certain circumstances, there have been tweaks to that. But for the most part, no.
but what are some other boundaries that you think are important? I think. What do you think are the probably the top two boundaries when it comes to like our marriage?
New friends, new friends. Some of those new friends, depending on how they come into the relationship of ours and whose number has what. I try to, um, in most situations, I don't want your wife's number. I don't want her to call and say, come this way, or there are a few exceptions, but for the easy boundary is call Tessie. You can get the number from her, or no, I don't even want to figure that out. I don't want it to be misconstrued. Something that I didn't know early on when my wife would say, "All right, you weren't there, so I waited outside." Well, my roommate's here. You can go in. Nah, I'm gonna just wait outside because that's
No,
gonna
I'm
cut
a little
down
bit
on.
more old
I
school,
and
and I'm
again,
not
I
doing that.
didn't at the time. I hadn't looked at that point of view. I
So
didn't
when
think of it that way.
we first started dating, Charles had a roommate, and I was supposed to be meeting him at his house. Let's say 7 o'clock. I get there 7 o'clock. He's not there. Oh, I'm 15 minutes away. Jamal is home. He'll let you in. That's okay. I'll wait in the car. Why? Jamal's in the house, sir. I am going to wait in the car. I'm not. I don't even want the misperception. I don't want even the idea, the appearance of anything inappropriate happening. So nothing can be said if I am sitting in the car waiting. I'm not going into your home with your roommate while you are not there.
I understand now.
As a boundary I set for myself. But the exchange, the flip side of that too is my girlfriends don't need your number about not nothing. There are some, but there are some friends that have some female friends that have your number. So that I don't mean that like strictly, but very few of them do. I don't want their husband's number, even if I'm trying to reach their husband. I will call them and say, "Tell your husband this," or Charles call the husband. And again, just boundaries that we have set for our marriage. I don't have friends over, male friends. I'm not gonna have men over if you're not home. So it goes both ways. I'm not gonna have even a male coworker. I'm just no, I'm not gonna have men over to my house if you're not home
I understand.
for whatever reason. Um, but other boundaries, I think, even outside of marriage and business, I think boundaries are very important to protect your peace of mind. And even in your marriage, we have boundaries as it relates to our parents. Information that they share, advice that they give that we're willing to take and not take. Um, I'm gonna leave that there. We have certain things, even when it came to this podcast, there were certain things that we said we were not going to talk about in the podcast that were off limits to viewers and listeners at large. So, like our sex life, or like that's never going to be a conversation for anybody. And so I just think that having healthy boundaries will help protect your mental state. It will help protect you emotionally, sometimes even physically. I think making boundaries for yourself for things that priorities and preferences that you have for your life and not allowing other people to cross into that is very, very important to protect your own well being.
I guess the time that I didn't have boundaries, maybe when we first got together. Um, Boundaries with the baby mama. I didn't think about them to have boundaries, so it was just kind of like okay, whatever, and not to be disrespectful, but I could see how they now that would be disrespectful in the relationship that I'm in. So when we first got together, I think I didn't have hell. I don't think I had boundaries in general with anybody. Just like okay, we kind of go with the flow, and if she gets upset, well then I guess that's a problem. And that was kind of how I figured out I needed to have a
That's how you
boundary.
figured out Tessie's boundaries because you didn't have boundaries, but I had boundaries. And because you had a daughter with someone, if she asked anything, you were, okay. Like she had a whole grown, no cursing. She had an entire grown boyfriend, of course. And she called one time and asked you to come hang a TV. And we were talking. He was like, "Oh, I'm going to go over to Bleep Bleep House tomorrow and hang up a TV." Excuse me? "Oh, yeah, I'm going over to she asked me, can I hang up Sir, let me be clear. Let me be real clear. You have to figure out what you're doing. You're either going to be her handyman or my boyfriend, but you can't be both. She has a grown man that she live would hang out, sleep with, all of that. He can hang her TV. You're responsible. My daughter's there. She watched the TV. I won't care if your daughter built the TV. If we're together, you're not going over there every time she call you to hang my TV and move this thing and that. I thought it was very disrespectful. I thought it was crossing into boundaries, and you were like, "Oh well, I'm not trying to be mean. Have nothing to do with being mean. It has nothing to do with being mean. I just thought it was disrespectful of you to do it, and I thought it was her taking advantage of the fact that you would do it. But what I was not willing to do is let either one of y'all play with me, and that's what it felt like to me, playing with my emotional well being, because it made me want
So
to
I didn't have
jump up and.
boundaries in the beginning. I didn't know. Some of it was just because it was a new relationship. As you can see, we
Mm-mm,
struck a nerve.
we're
But
not gonna do
nonetheless,
that.
I don't know if it was hanging TV. I remember the situation. Nonetheless,
Was
I
it a TV?
understand
Was
the
it
error in my
TV?
ways.
Was it TV?
So it was a TV. Something was going on with it. Was it some BS? Yes, it was. Did I recognize it? No, at the time I didn't. Now I understand wholeheartedly the wrong in my ways and the what I was thinking, and I will never fix a TV remote, internet for anybody that's not my wife or one of my daughters. So, learning your boundaries will keep you out of future pain and
Listen,
and trauma. I
you know
was
what?
wrong. I'm
Listen,
not. I'm not
stop
saying.
being. Listen, do you remember when we was watching the episode of was it BMF and the husband on there? What's the main character's name? Meech, Big
Mm.
Meech. Remember his father and his mom were really into the church, and his father, one of the ladies at the church, said, "Oh, come over, brother, such and such. Can you hang my TV?" And he went over there and hung that TV, and that lady was over there straight up trying to bring him in to seduce him and all this kind of stuff. He went over to hang the TV. Next thing you know, he was over there putting up a shelf and so on and so forth, and they end up sleeping together, and it ruined his whole marriage. Now you have to be a weak-minded person to do that yourself. I'm not saying that you helping somebody is going to lead to that, but we're not even going to set the appearance of the BS. So no, you're gonna hire a
So
handyman, call
her
your uncle,
husband
your
ain't
cousin.
home. I
Mm-mm.
ain't coming over.
If her husband
I
home,
ain't
then
even
what's she
help.
calling you in for?
That part. See, that's what I'm just saying. If Mike's wife was at home by her, I'm not coming unless Tessie's with me and we coming in together, together
Oh
like this.
please, oh please,
No.
don't y'all let Charles fool y'all.
Don't let Tessie fool you either. I've learned the error in my ways. I have not been perfect, but I sure as hell figured it out by now. So boundaries, I have them now. Have lots of them. Any married man that want to know, I can read you off a list of them. I can give you the list that I've learned, and also show you some of the scrapes and bruises that I have bumped my head and by not having those boundaries. So I'm here to tell you, testify. We have boundaries.
That is not where I thought you were going with that.
Hmm?
That's not where I thought you were going with that.
Well, I got them.
What are boundaries that you want me to have?
You came ready made.
I
She
did
came with all
not.
the boundaries.
I didn't come ready made
All
with
right,
boundaries. I have some boundaries that I needed to work on too.
well, to be honest,
Please,
I want the one that comes with the button that you hit it and it.
a mute button.
There you go.
Stop it. Never happening. Okay, never
So
happening.
there we go.
That's not a
See,
boundary.
it is.
It's not.
It's where it's where the
Ta 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 ta. This is not. That's not a boundary.
boundary.
This is,
No, I want you to stop communicating for the moment so you can process what I said.
that's a nice way of saying shut up and listen to what I said.
That's not what I
That
said.
is what you said. That is
Ah,
what you said.
that is not how I didn't mean for it to be interpreted that way.
I'll be the judge of that.
I just want you to hear me and take the time to what you call it, digest it.
Okay.
That's
Noted.
not a that's a one. That's not a boundary. No.
It still needs to be heard. It still needs to be
My
considered.
boundary is I need
And
to be heard. I
implemented.
need to feel like I'm heard. There you go.
It's not a boundary.
Oh.
However, I understand your point. You want maybe your boundary would be maybe your boundary would be for me to not over talk you when you're talking, so that I can hear what you're saying and process it. That
I
part,
like
see what I'm
that.
saying? That's your
Teamwork.
boundary. Yeah, let you talk and stop talking so
Coming
much.
up with this on the fly.
I'm gonna work on that one.
What boundaries would you like, dear?
Um, I don't know that I have anything that I want you to stop doing or be in my space to do. Honestly, you, it's not a boundary. The opposite, like limits that I need to put on things that you're doing to protect my mental space. No, I don't feel like there's anything that you haven't already been whipped into shape by now. In 18, 19 years in the making. So, but probably we're very clear, I think, for the most part, on what pushes each other's buttons, how to protect and safeguard each other. I think we've worked through a lot of that over the years. There's no boundaries. There's things that I want you to work on, things you want me to work on, but boundaries, I think we're kind of on the same page with most of the boundaries for our marriage and for the business. So I just think it's very important for everybody to have their own individual boundaries when it comes to your family, your friends, finances. Like I think some of our other boundaries are like finances. Like we're on the same page about lending people money, letting people live with us. As far as the opposite sex, how we interact and engage with them. Um, Most of the big ones, I think we're kind of on the same page with. So As as many of you already know, we have a very large family. Um, I have 5 sisters, 5 brothers. Charles has 1 sister. We have we have 7
And
children,
now a brother that's been added to the family.
which is my brother. Oh, our brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Yes, she
We can't
recently
forget
got
about
married.
him.
That's
Yeah.
right, Steve.
Mhm.
We like him. So
But the boundary we've
I
set
know
is you deal with your side of the family
this
and
is
I deal with
very
mine.
true.
So that way, and they still don't see it that well. At least mine, they think that the other one has something to say because they're a lot more opinionated. But no, it's me. And if you do something that I don't feel like is respectful of my wife or I don't like, then I'm going to address it. And sometimes you have to hear it, and you may not like it, but this is the boundary I set. Um, that I set for my family, and unfortunately, sometimes they don't like it and they have to deal with it or not deal with me. I don't, at the end of the day, this is who I sleep next to, and whether it's good, bad, or ugly, she gonna be the one that I continue to sleep next to, and not y'all. If you don't like the decision or you can't roll with it, it is what it is. That was what that's mean.
Maybe a little bit,
Mm,
but I'm just if somebody in my family does something wrong or inappropriate or insensitive, I'm the one that addresses my family. And if the issue is with his family, he addresses his family. I don't talk to his family members and say you did something wrong or you said something offensive. So he deals with his family, and I deal with my family. Is what he was trying to say. Um,
but
so that's just easier.
my family, I think, is a little more. I love them. They're a lot more opinionated. When you have a lot more opinions, you get a lot more answers. I don't really know. If you have something to say, I can respond. It might
Yeah.
not.
So I don't talk to his family directly so much about those types of things. That's just something that a boundary and a rule that we set in our marriage very, very early on. But other than that, that's how we deal with that. I think we're on the same page as how we deal with children and little children in the family and our kids. We're kind of on the same page with that. Some of our children, they're very different, very, very different.
We
Um,
got all of it.
some of them are
Emotional, more emotional than others.
a little more sensitive.
Some need to be coddled a little more than others.
Some are higher energy. A
Yes.
little rainbow child who is just bright and everything she see and do is the sunshine. And so you have to deal with them and engage them at different times and places. But I don't think they have different boundaries though. I don't think they have different boundaries. If
No, I think it's
they,
probably
they
the
have all the
same.
same boundaries, they have different needs.
Yeah.
They have different needs, but they all have the same boundaries as it relates to us. I'll give them all the same parts and time and pieces of me that I would give from one to the other. No, no, that's not true. That's not true. Thinking about that out loud, just like anything else I do, what I'm going to give and extend to my children depends on their effort as well, though.
There,
There are some children that I have set a boundary, and I'm not going to help you financially because what you're doing with your finances is not responsible. So I've drawn a line in the sand as to what I'm going to do for you financially. There are others who are doing things that are a lot more um, just they're doing things
progressive.
that are
They're
yeah
progressing. They're
they're
moving
just
forward.
doing more positive things, and so I'm willing to help you. If you're helping yourself, I'll help you more. But if you're not doing anything, you're just sitting back chilling, then I have a boundary, and you're an adult, and you like to remind everybody that you're an adult, so you be adult and you take care of all your responsibilities. So there are some boundaries as it comes when it comes to our finances, regardless of who it is. When the children were younger, the
Mhm.
boundaries that we had set in place for the kids varied from time to time. Discipline, personal space. Charles has a boundary where he doesn't want anybody in our kids. Is the physical boundary in our room. I'm sorry, in our bedroom. I like the children to pile all into the bed, and I don't mind.
I
He's
don't want nobody in my room. If you,
Z.
you that's my space. That's my space. Me and my wife's space. I don't care who you are. I don't want you in my room, kid. And when we first got together, she thought it was I was trying to maybe act funny, like you don't want my no. I don't want Charles in my room now. Mom, can I watch TV in the room? No. Well, that's the only TV. Guess you gotta wait then in here.
Oh, but he's so cute.
I don't care.
But
I don't want you in my
listen,
room because you get to looking and saying this is in here. It's just none of your business. You should know where none. I know where there's a charger. It doesn't matter. I don't care. You shouldn't.
okay.
I'm sorry to
when
struggle.
the
I want you. I don't like that. I don't like you in my. It's almost. I feel like you being in my room is like you being in the bathroom, in the toilet room with me when I'm in there. That's how it feels when people are in my room. That's my space. That's my safe space. You shouldn't have the option to know where anything is. I didn't invite you in here. I don't want you in here. Let's be clear. But I'm sorry. I digress.
Okay. I've heard that a lot. I know. I know. Um,
And now some of the children agree with me too. Now that they have their own place. Yeah, I don't like people in my room. Go figure. You don't want them in your bedroom. Sorry, I had to get that out.
and that is fine. That is fine. The other thing, though, when the kids were younger, disciplining the children, we had very set boundaries. For the most part, outside of a conversation, I didn't discipline his daughter, and he didn't discipline my children. It was a conversation. We were on the same page about what we did with the children. Like, this is what we're going to do, and these are the rules, and we communicated those rules to them. But if there was a violation of those rules, I dealt with my children, and he dealt with his daughter. Now, when we got together, his daughter was the youngest of all six of the children, and she was three. So she really started calling me mom very, very early into the relationship. And it was a little different for me to discipline her in the sense of take a toy away from her or have her sit down. But I've never spanked his daughter. I would never like use physical punishment on his daughter. So I've never done that.
Springer, but a hand less than a handful of
Yeah,
times.
maybe
So,
two or three times.
and the
Yeah.
younger two that were closer to her age,
hmm
it wasn't really a
Charles was not the disciplinarian for most kids. Let's just say that. But when he
Mm-mm.
did try to set a punishment, it was so crazy. It didn't even match. Even if it was something on a little thing, like the children take your candy. This is one of the examples. Tasia ate your candy one time. You had bought some Reese's or something.
Twizzlers.
Something. And she ate. You had like a big bag.
She ate all of them but two.
She ate most of them,
All of them but
and
two.
he
You
thought
should just
that
ate
was
it
so
back. That's messed
inconsiderate.
up. You gonna eat the whole thing and just leave me two?
But his punishment
I don't remember the
was
punishment.
so one-sided.
What was it?
Like I'm gonna take your phone for a week and take all your dessert for a
I
month.
didn't
And
do
so
all
it was
that.
something
That wasn't
so
that.
crazy.
No.
It never matches what the punishment
It might have
was.
been something like she got something and I ate all of it.
Like for
All
weeks.
of
It
it.
was
No, I didn't.
never.
I didn't eat for weeks. It wasn't no weeks. Now my punishments did last longer than Tessie. Tessie
They
say,
made no sense.
and Tessie would be like, "You're gonna be punished for the whole weekend." 5 minutes in, it's okay, baby. Don't even worry about it no more. Y'all go ahead and play.
It's probably a little longer than that. But my
10 minutes.
point was, I feel like if I'm going to punish you, I want you to understand what I wanted you to learn from it and not just punish you. So there were consequences, and it was longer than 30 minutes. But I'm not going to just say you were wrong and beat you or take something from you. And you had this never ending punishment. If the punishment is you got grounded for the weekend would be gone and you would still be talking about it and still adding to
I
it and adding to it and
sometimes
adding to it.
sometimes I went a little overboard with it, and you would explain to them very well.
Very well.
This is what the punishment is, and this is why you're being punished. But the punishment would never go beyond that day. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what you did wrong. I'm gonna explain to you. We're gonna have a conversation, and then after today, there seemed like there was no consequences. And mine would be, you're gonna get punished for a week, so long that you done forgot what you was on punishment for.
Which is not even
So-
right. Doesn't make any sense.
So I'm saying between
you
the two,
punished so long you didn't even know what you're on punishment for.
no, I will remember.
Think about that out loud.
I will remember. So somewhere along the way, we started to get it together. And it would be
When I know that you understood what you did wrong, what you should have done better, and how you can make it better, the punishment can stop. We're good.
no.
And I didn't have to repeat
Don't even say that you're on
punishments.
punishment.
I didn't have to repeat punishments. You got grounded once. We're gonna have a meaningful heart-to-heart conversation about how you could have made better choices.
She always did very well of explaining
We're
the
so
punishment.
off topic right
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're so off topic right
Your
now.
punishments is whack. Your punishments was whack. There was no boundaries on the punishment. The boundaries was, today it's set here, tomorrow it's over here, and then maybe we'll get it here today, and then over here. And Charles's was, we always 50-yard line, way out there.
Well, the point, just bringing it back full circle, the boundaries in disciplining each other's children. We had a conversation and we came to a consensus about what the rules were. I had a boundary and a space for what I wanted before I knew you were on the planet, about how I wanted to discipline my children and how I wanted them to learn from mistakes and how I wanted them to experience different things. And when we met, that wasn't a
Yeah,
line
you
that I was willing to cross at all.
because I didn't have any children.
What do you mean? You
In
had
high
a
school, I didn't have that kid.
Okay, I didn't know you in high school. Listen, y'all are missing his joke. He back to the I met him back in high school joke. Nobody knows that but you. But anyway, when I
You
met him, he had a
clarified it
3-year
though.
old. Because okay,
No, we're just gonna clear something about these kids. When I met her in high school, I didn't have any kids. When I graduated college and I met her, I had one.
okay. So we're gonna put a pin in this right now. I'm gonna talk about our kids, the truth about our children, so that everybody's clear about when we met and where these kids come into and how they move around in our relationship.
And the boundaries of what we created back in '99.
So Charles likes to jump in and out of reality. I didn't know him in '99. So we're gonna
We've been
talk
married all
about the
this time,
truth.
so you've been jumping in and out with me, huh?
We're gonna jump. We're gonna jump into reality, and we're gonna discuss our kids and their
All of them.
ages, where they are, how we raise them together, how we blend this family together.
And the grandbabies. And why some days I seem so energetic and other days it's tired.
All right, stay tuned.
Hey, fellas, it's Charles again with TDE, Family Law and Divorce Attorneys. I just wanted to give you a little bit of information, tell you what we're here to do, but I understand that you're probably looking at this because you're going through some type of situation that we can assist you with, whether it's your baby mom, whether it's your soon to be ex wife, whether it may be just a parenting thing that you're going to help another family member with out. Um, it's trying, it's stressful. This is a marathon, not a sprint, so nothing's going to happen quickly. The other thing that I want to point out to you is we're here as a resource. Whether you watch our social media ads, whether you tune into our podcast, you can like and subscribe, but hopefully from watching this, there's going to be more information that you can get. One way that you can get one of those resources is just by calling our office. We have people that are there to answer the phones, and they may be able to point you in the right direction. I know that you may have friends or buddies that have went through the court system and you're like, I'm absolutely against child support, but your child may be used as a pawn, or maybe your kindness is being taken as hostage. I'm here to tell you that me and our group of attorneys with a greatly skilled team are here to help you. Look us up on the website, and then from there you can schedule a call. Yes, sometimes these things can be expensive, but anything that you feel is worth it, you always find a way. And if you find your way to our law firm, we are here to help you